I mean, we just continue to watch this. One small plus here is we don't have any current warnings right now. So there's no current tornado warnings across the entire viewing area. Now that could quickly change, but as you look at the camera down at Plymouth Harbor, you're seeing it bouncing around, torrential rain. I mean, at times from this vantage point, we've not even been able to see downtown. Now you flip the camera around and you look, this is at Lido, and you're looking at the waves, and this is somewhat deja vu from just, less than 2 weeks ago with Helene, and you're seeing just the huge waves and that surge starting to develop along the coastline there. And unfortunately, conditions are just going to continue to deteriorate, work our way up the coastline. Clearwater Beach, you can see at times that water has certainly gone much higher up the beach. You can see that line, but right now receding back a little bit. But this is going to continue to build as we go through the afternoon. You look real closely, and I was looking at this a few minutes ago. This is Bayshore Boulevard. Trust me, it's in there. You can see a little hint right there on the left-hand side of some of the condo buildings, but for the time being, everything looking okay as far as storm surge with this track. Further to the south, that is going to help the situation as far as that storm surge into Tampa Bay. Look at the winds right now. St. Petersburg sustained basically just a hair below tropical storm force. We'll go ahead and we'll call it tropical storm. 40 is tropical storm. So gusting to 48. Clearwater gusting to 44 here in Tampa. We're seeing our winds gusting currently to 37 miles an hour, and down in the Sarasota, your winds are gusting 43 miles an hour. All these winds, for the time being, they're pushing offshore. That's what's really helping the situation out. But Sky Tower radar right now, very active. And I wanted to take a moment to show you this, because this is the power outages, and those are starting to really accumulate at this point. You look into Hillsborough County, and we're at 9,500, 6,500 into Pinellas, down into Manatee. We are now at 8,000 out of power right now, and we just now have yet a new tornado warning. So just at the time we were excited about no tornado warnings, here we go yet again, and this is over into central Polk County. This is the area that we're looking at, and this seems familiar because we've seen a number of warnings over into that eastern portion and central portion of Polk County. This one goes until 4:30. This is a radar indicated tornado warning. Right now, this is a thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado located 8 miles to the north of Avon Park. This one is moving very fast. This one's moving to the north at 55 miles an hour. So this one is really caught up in this wind. And here's what we're looking at. As we look at the winds in this, there you see it. It looks like right now to the east of 27. I'm going to circle the area that we are looking at right down here. And so this is moving to the north at 55 miles an hour. So right now, this very moment, frost-proof, Hillcrest Heights, over towards Lake Wales, you need to be in your safe location. This is heading basically in your direction over towards Alcoma. Alcoma, I know you've had a number of warnings in just to the east of Lake Wales, but here we go again. We have another tornado right now. Radar indicated, no confirmation, but at this point we have to treat them the same, regardless whether they're confirmed or not. And then this will work its way to the north. Now, you notice how large this warning is, and that is simply because this is moving so fast, moving to the north right now at 55 miles an hour. So you look at the rotation in this, and this is the area that we're excuse me, this is the area that we're looking at. It just now worked its way into Polk County, and that is the rotation right there. And that is working its way right towards frostproof. And with that speed at 55 miles an hour, this is going to be in frostproof probably in the next, say, 3, 4, 5 minutes. So it's basically, it's there right now. And then this will continue to race on towards the north and east as we continue to see the radar scanning this area. We're already seeing this a bit further to the north, up towards frostproof as well. heading up towards Lake Wales, and this is just going to continue on that same basic track. Go out wide on this once again and look at just all the rain, and we just continue to watch these very strong bands. And just as we go out wide, we have yet another warning. This one, it looks like filling in that hole into southeastern Polk County, and it does look like this is now for a cell that's working its way just to the east of Frostproof. There we go. That one goes until 4:30 as well. And this is the area now working its way into, looks like, Highlands County, well east of Avon Park. But this is moving to the north as well, moving to the north at 20 miles an hour. So this one moving a bit slower. But again, so we've got one right around Frostproof. We have another one that's working its way a bit further on towards the east, maybe not nearly as much population once you get right over into this corner, but certainly up over towards Frostproof, over towards Hillcrest Heights, heading up towards Lake Wales. There's population in this area. You've got Bach Tower in here. You've got some communities right along 27 heading up to the north as well. Let's go out wide once again and look at just all the rain continue to spread through these areas. And then as far as the rainfall mounts, we're just continuing to watch more of this piling up right along the coastline. And then just so much of this starting to spread inland as well in the Sarasota. And then you see this moving over into our inland communities as well. So we do have a flash flood warning in many of these areas throughout the interior as well. I want to take the time here to talk about the track because winds still steadily slowing down with this, but still we're talking about a Category 4. It's amazing that we're happy to see this down to 130 because this has just been an absolutely historic hurricane. This morning we woke up, this was still at 160 miles an hour, so we're heading in the right direction, but still this is going to be a devastating blow to the coastline. As we head into this evening, still on track. Looking at just the motion of this, it still looks like it is heading in the same basic area. Been watching for any of these wobbles with this, and so far we haven't seen anything like this, but from that track line and also to the right, that is where we're going to see the maximum amount of that surge as it works its way through. Later on tonight and into tomorrow, this is pushing still across the state, 85-mile-an-hour winds. And then we have so much of this rain that is on that northern side of this as well. 6 to 12 inches of rain, and we're likely going to see some isolated areas of up to 18 inches of rain. I want to bring Valerie in to talk more about some of these impacts that we're going to continue to see as we head through the afternoon, Valerie.
Yeah, Jim, and I'm going to start by kind of playing out our past path that we have seen Hurricane Milton take. You could see where it emerged in the western Gulf of Mexico, and originally this was actually able to kind of tap in to some tropical energy from the remnants of a storm that was over in the Pacific. And so overnight, we basically saw this area explode in the western Gulf. And this is the kind of path that it took. It meandered here very slowly, kind of dipped off to the south, and right as it was to the north of the Yucatan Peninsula, that's when we saw it explode to become a major Category 5 hurricane. And since then, that's when it started to take that curve. We've got that trough of low pressure, and that's basically started to pull this storm. You think of it like a magnet, and that's why it started to take that trend off to the north and east. And so all things have pretty much been on track with what we've been watching over the last couple of days. Now we zoom in on where it is now, and we're still seeing this storm a little bit off our coast to the south and west, maybe about a little over 100 miles there. And so we're still talking about 130-mile-per-hour winds as this storm has slowed down just a slight bit, but still moving to the northeast about 16 miles per hour. That pressure at about 948 millibars at this point. And so still a very strong hurricane, but it is continuing to interact with some much less favorable conditions. The kind of maximum of its strength has already been accomplished when it was in that part of the Gulf. And as it continues to get closer to our state, we've got these very hostile upper winds and these drier air that the storm is going to continue to contend with through the rest of its kind of approach to making that landfall later on tonight. Despite that, it is still going to be bringing major impacts all across West west and central Florida. It is a very unique storm in the path that it kind of directly crossed the Gulf of Mexico to be making landfall in these areas that we don't typically talk about, kind of a direct landfall from a storm crossing the Gulf of Mexico like that. And so as we talk about our probability for hurricane force winds, you can kind of see where we're painting the picture of where this storm might come on shore. And we do certainly expect right around that eye wall to be the most extreme and damaging winds and wind gusts. And so our latest trends have continued to kind of steer the course with this storm coming on shore likely just south of Tampa Bay. Now, of course, we continue to watch for any subtle changes because, as we've been saying, a slight nudge to the north puts Tampa Bay directly into the high threat for the storm surge, kind of funneling right into parts of Hillsborough and Tampa Bay areas. But all of the trends with where we're seeing that center of circulation now and the kind of course that it's been taking, we do expect this kind of trend to continue, where it likely comes on shore just south of Tampa Bay, puts the worst of the storm surge then to areas just to the south of where that landfall will occur. But look at these winds. This yellow color here, that's where we're talking 60 to 75 mile per hour winds, and that moves on shore and spreads across a huge chunk of the state. And then we have these concerns also on the East Coast, because once this emerges back as still a strong category, or strong hurricane rather, we get that onshore push. We've got all of those wave heights picking up, and so this is not just a concern close to where this makes landfall, but the winds are going to be far-reaching as this really crosses the base of the peninsula. So as far as when the worst of the winds will start, it looks like right around that 6 o'clock time frame, then right on through 11 o'clock. That's when we're approaching this storm to be making landfall, which we're still eyeing really the late night, early Thursday morning hours. But you could see those winds where we get close to up to 100 miles per hour right around Sarasota, down onto Venice, our inland spots dealing with those 60, 70 mile per hour gusts. And right on through the early Thursday morning hours, these winds will be whipping. We'll start to see a change in the direction of the winds, of course, once the storm starts to be crossing the state. You can see on the backside of this, we've kind of got a different amount of wind flow. So just depending on where you're at, exactly where we'll see the direction of those winds. But it's late tonight where we get that onshore push. And so our storm surge issues will really start to pick up as we get closer to landfall and after, once that center kind of moves on shore. So all of these heavy rain bands, we're already dealing with them, and these continue to lift south to north. So through the rest of tonight, it's really northern spots. So even though we're on the north side of where we're talking about a potential landfall, that puts us in line to be dealing with all of the heaviest rain. This storm kind of a little bit lopsided here. We're going to have all of the heavy rain concerns on the north side of the storm, but then the storm surge is going to be along into the south of that storm center. And then right on through Thursday morning, we start to see conditions improve as this likely takes that jog off the East Coast by the late morning hours. And so conditions improve through the day tomorrow. Let's go ahead and talk about the storm surge potential. With that trend kind of pushing further south, it's areas around Manatee, Sarasota counties that we are very concerned about. You can kind of see the legend up here. We've got this orange color. We're talking 9 feet of inundation and around 6 feet with this yellow color. So some threatened areas, Home Beach down to Bradenton Beach, Cortez, right on through Bayshore Gardens. All of these areas close to the coast have a very high chance of these extreme storm surge values. Lido Key, you can see they're kind of in this threshold here, 6 to 9 feet, right on down to areas around kind of Longboat, Lido Key, Armand Circle, and then right on into Siesta Key. You can see a lot of Siesta Key kind of up to this orange color, up to 9 feet. And then furthermore, as we get down south into areas around Osprey and say around Venice, Inglewood, we will have some concerns about these areas. So if it's not Tampa Bay, it is going to be our neighbors just to the south. And so this storm is going to be bringing some impacts as far as the surge, also the wind. Jim already mentioned the power outages that we've seen coming through. And so overall, here's kind of a look at where we're anticipating the worst of the winds, but all of us here around the state are going to be seeing some sort of impact from Hurricane Milton.